Oh my gosh. I use a badass. Those vocals. Oh, that's cool. Ah, this is so freaking cool. Hello, Claire Bears. It's Elsie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new and if you're returning, welcome back. We are here for part 2 of my reaction to the best K-pop songs of 2021, where we will continue to progress through the list of critics' choices for the best K-pop songs of 2021, where we're going to be going from number 6 today all the way to number 1. But first of all, I would love to know, I'm very curious if the songs that you thought would be in this top 6 were actually correct. And if so, how many you got right? Or what songs do you feel like is a travesty that is not on this list? But again, don't take it up with me, take it up with the critics. If you missed out on part 1 and would like to see the songs 12 to number 7, as well as the methodology for how this best K-pop songs list was built, then you can check that out. Here, I think. No, it's here. Sorry, my bad. Second, I will be continuing to go through my picks of the top songs of 2021 from number 5 to number 1. And then lastly, if you would like to see the complete list of songs that I built as a result of doing all of these aggregated rankings, then you can take a look at either the Google Doc in the description or you can check out the Spotify playlist. So all of that being said, let's get into the video. But before we do, please don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoy it and subscribe to my channel. My Tumblr from part 1 has evolved. It's gotten even bigger. It went from Tumblr to Tumblrzard. If I had any Photoshop skills whatsoever, I would Photoshop Charizard wings and a head onto my Tumblr. But alas, I do not. All right, so let's dive into the list now, where number 6 on our list, we have Advice by Taemin. So this is a song that I have already reacted to, that I did so for a Patreon video that I filmed back in May. So if you would like to see my initial reaction to Advice, then you can check out that link right here. I know the right side this time. But I still would like to do a reaction to something I haven't seen before from Advice, because I always like to have a fresh perspective of the song when I do my own rankings. So I'm going to be reacting to the dance practice today. But before we do that, as per tradition in this series, we are going to take a look at what some of the publications had to say about some of these different songs. So let's see what Insider had to say about Advice, because they placed Advice at number 4 on their list. So here it says, Taemin gets to exhibit his polished dance moves, as smooth as the melody and his vocals accompanying it. As one of the strongest dancers and vocalists in the industry, his talent is brought to the forefront as the hook of the song quickly approaches. From start to finish, Advice keeps you in its strong grasp with enchanting vocals and visuals to go with it. This track proves what we've known for a very long time, that Taemin is K-pop's brightest star. Holy cow, that's some high praise. But it really is a fantastic song, and the song that introduced me to the world of Taemin. And since hearing Advice, I was introduced to Move, and that has pretty much been on repeat since I initially heard it. And this article is absolutely right in terms of him being a star, in terms of being captivating. It's actually a challenge not to be absolutely drawn in by Taemin. And it's also awesome just how long he has had a hold on the K-pop industry, because I saw somewhere recently that SHINee, after their most recent wins, now have wins in 3 separate decades, which made me feel very old because I am older than Taemin. But it's really great to see that he is getting the recognition that he deserves. So let's watch the dance practice for Advice. I'm really excited for this. Oh, I love that piano melody. I really should learn that, even though I'm a piss poor piano player. What's on this shirt? I think that's me watching this reaction, honestly. Or watching this video, I should say. And I love that he has female dancers. Ooh, he just looked like he was floating there. That was amazing. And I like that the choreography is kind of gender neutral, if you know what I mean. Because it doesn't look out of place that the dancers, the female dancers are doing it, or that he's doing it. Ooh. This is so freaking good. Just the levels that they're playing with. And kind of like the jerkiness of the choreography. Feels like, in a way, kind of manic. Ooh, and that just like hip movement. It's such a cool idea to mix the, like, you know, the popping with the fluidity. And I love having the women do the first chorus and then the men, or the first verse and the men do the second. I love this song. It's just so smooth. Oh. Oh my gosh, I love it. Just like the control he has over them is like the control he has over me, to be honest. Oh, and then that was so good. Like, so good. And he just makes it look so effortless, which I can guarantee you it is not. But that is such a talent and a skill to make something so difficult look so easy. And kudos to the backup dancers for being able to keep up with him. And I just love watching dance practices because I feel like sometimes with music videos or even live performances, you can miss little nuances in the choreography that you might miss when you're just distracted by everything else going on. So I always love throwing in a dance practice to any video that I can do when I can. From the music video to the vocals to the choreography to some of those like lyrics that just absolutely pull you in. It's hard to deny how fantastic of a song this is. So I think that I am going to put Advice at number 1 on this list. Mostly because just how do you top Taemin? I don't even know. All right, so now at number 5 on our list here is Butter by BTS, which, like Advice from Taemin, appeared on 6 of the 9 critics' lists, but slightly eked out Advice because it came out in an average ranking of 11.7 compared to 12.2 from Advice. So the highest ranking that Butter received was from Billboard at number 6. And Billboard said, Dynamite could have been a tough act to follow, but when BTS's second English language track Butter glided onto the scene in May, I see what they did there. The septet ruled the number 1 spot on the Hot 100 for 10 consecutive weeks, 7 more weeks than their English debut. Butter cemented BTS's status in American pop as they performed the toe-tapping tune on America's most high-profile tickets, including the 2021 BBMAs, AMAs, and Jingle Ball in Los Angeles. Plus, it earned them their 2nd Grammy nod. And Butter is kind of an anomaly, kind of an enigma on this list. It's kind of a weird one for me because in a way, comparing Butter to some of these other songs is like comparing apples and oranges, not just because of the fact that it's in English, but also because of the impact that it had on like the normies, the locals, and almost that it had a bigger impact in the local world than in the K-pop world, if that makes sense. Like it transcended K-pop and went into almost like another realm. So in a way, it's kind of hard to define. And then on top of that, for me, this is the only song on this list that I actually heard in 2021. So it's the only song that I can say whether or not I think it will stand the test of time because it's been 2 years now. And in terms of whether it stands the test of time, I would say mostly. And it's kind of interesting because I listened to the crap out of it when it came out in 2021. But then when I started to get into other groups, like when I started to get into ATEEZ and Stray Kids and Dreamcatcher and TXT, like I just wasn't listening to it as much. But then anytime it kind of just comes on my shuffle, I never skip it or, you know, find myself getting bored by it. Every time it slaps, especially that breakdown after the second chorus, that instrumental breakdown, I absolutely love it. So it's weird in that I wouldn't really go out of my way to listen to the song very much, but every time it comes on, it just hits. So again, this is why I'm having a tough time ranking this song. So I think where I'm going to put it on my list is number 4, because, you know, even though it does hit, I feel like lyrically it could have been a little bit more creative. After a certain amount of time, the summer themed similes get a little bit stale. But again, am I dancing every single time that this song comes on? Yes. And am I still doing this 2 years later after originally hearing it? Yes. So I think there's something definitely to be said for that. So again, I would love to come back to this list in maybe 2 years from now and see where I would rank the rest of these songs after I've had them in my K-pop lexicon for the same amount of time as Butter. But anyways, on to our next song here, our number 4 song, which is Lilac by IU. Now, aside from our number 1 song on this list, this is the only song that is going to have more than one publication rank it at number 1. And it was both the Review Geek and NME that gave Lilac the number 1 spot. So let's take a look at the Review Geek because we have not seen an article from them yet here. So after a 4-year wait, IU once again proves the magnitude of her musical capability with her 5th studio album, Lilac. In this song, the 29-year-old singer uses the symbolism of lilac flowers and the spring season to narrate her most relatable tale yet, bidding farewell to your 20s and embracing your 30s. Oh my gosh, this is so relatable. Turning 30 was one thing for me, but then turning 31, I feel like that's when the realization hit of like, I am in my 30s. You know, focusing on the new doors that will open rather than on the ones that will close. I love that. Lilac is a wonderful way for both us and IU to bid farewell to the singer's roaring 20s and welcome the next chapter in her life with open arms. As IU herself sings, "Could this last goodbye be any more perfect?" Wow, I feel like this song is going to hit so much different for me because of just how relatable this is. Like, I think IU and I are the exact same age. Never mind, she's a year younger than me. But regardless, I feel like this is already going to just like rocket to the top. I haven't even heard the song yet. It is probably going to rocket to the top for me just because of, you know, how subjective feelings about a song can be. And when you feel so close to a song or feel like you can so relate to a song, it just kind of hits so much different, especially because I feel like age is just a number. I know that I look a lot younger than 31, but I also just feel a lot younger than 31. And I feel like sometimes as a 31-year-old K-pop fan, I could get some judgment passed at me, but I feel like that's a that person problem, not a me problem. Because, you know, who says you have to do a certain thing at a certain age or be over something by a certain age? I just say let people live their lives as long as they're not hurting anybody. So I like this concept of embracing your 30s, especially because I feel like in the K-pop industry or just in the entertainment industry in general, entering your 30s for women is like practically a death sentence because there's still, you know, deeply entrenched misogyny in every aspect of the industry where, you know, as soon as a woman's youthfulness disappears, she just gets tossed to the wayside. So I love the fact that she's embracing this and saying that it's a new beginning and not the end, you know? It's a great message to send to young women and, you know, women in their 20s of like, life is not over when you turn 30. Plus, kind of like Taemin, I have just started to get into IU and I'm really excited to see more from her. Ooh, and I like these destinations. I feel like these are different songs. I know Love Poem and 8 are definitely songs of hers. And then they have the dates that they came out. That's cool. And Where Are You Going? Lilac is March 25th, and then it says March 25th on the clock. And they also put 3:25 on the clock. That's fun. I already love this. I haven't even heard the song, and I already love it. So as I take a sip of water from my giant ass tumbler, let's watch the music video for Lilac. I love her blazer. Like the guitars. Lilac, Lilac. Dead. I love her voice. It's so light and airy. And that beat. Ooh. It's so airy and stunning. And that color is gorgeous on her. It's glorious on her, I should say. This really does feel like a warm spring, this song. And it does have a youthfulness about it, despite, you know, having maturity as well, which I think is what she's going for, of, you know, you can both have a youthful spirit, but be mature at the same time. And I love the metaphor of the spring being like a new beginning for her. Oh, lilac, the day under the petals canopy, goodbye. This ending matches right. It's like the falling petals. Our ivory-colored spring climax. How glorious it is. But I also feel like the outfit choices are really clever as well, because parts of this, like the bow in her hair feels very youthful, but her outfit doesn't feel as youthful. Like there's a bit of contrast to it. So I'm really enjoying this so far. Her voice just gives me chills. What happened to her face? Did I miss something? Oh. This took a turn. Oh my gosh. I use a badass. And then of course, back to the beautiful visuals. I love it. She's just so like gentle. I want to know who these guys are who tried to attack her. I'm sure whoever they are, they deserved it. Ooh. Will you forget me someday? Oh. Ooh. Gorgeous. Everything about this is just making my heart so happy. I just want to dance. Ooh, sax solo. Always love a good sax solo. Yeah, this was very celebratory. With a lot of confetti. Ooh, and there's like the confetti on the ground. So it's like a fun touch. And in her hair. So was it real? The time has come. She's facing it with bravery. I love it. And I find it super interesting how she touches on all these themes of, you know, the past and almost wanting to relive the past, or is worried about the present becoming the past, if that makes sense. Like, I especially like the way I look today. Tell me I look pretty like the day we first met. This feeling of, you know, am I still beautiful? Do you still find me beautiful like you did then? Or will you forget me someday? Will you forget our faces and the scent of today? Of really wanting to, you know, hold on to the present and not be forgotten or left behind. So it's fun to see her, rather than fear these things, even though she's expressing these doubts, really face it head on and celebrating it with all this confetti. But then when she goes back to the platform and it seems like it was all a dream, but then at the same time there's all the confetti in her hair and on the floor. So I feel like it's almost reflective of an attitude, and age is an attitude. It could be something that you let defeat you, that you could let just stay in your head and not become realized. Or you could say, screw it, I'm going to embrace the fact that I am aging. I'm going to treat it as a beginning instead of an ending. So I absolutely love the subject matter and the video for this song. And then it felt like those guys coming in and kind of attacking her in a way could represent like netizens criticizing her for her age, or, you know, potentially saying that she's past her prime. Like, I don't know if anyone is saying those things, and that's just kind of my interpretation, but it seems like she's shutting them down really fast, and that's maybe potentially what they're representative of, is those potential criticisms that she just like takes out. Now, in terms of the song itself, I love the beat, the underlying synths, the guitars, her absolutely angelic voice, and, you know, this like light and airy side of K-pop, like this subgenre, is not typically something that I would go out of my way to listen to. But again, I just feel like so biased by the subject matter of the song that I feel like I'm going to put this at number 4 on my list. Because typically for me, when it comes to girl groups or female vocalists, I really love like a good intense song like INVU from Taemin, or, you know, an absolute banger like Scream from Dreamcatcher or Wannabe by ITZY. And I feel like there's no in between. And even though this song doesn't even remotely resemble any of those songs, it really makes me want to get into IU even more than I already did want to get into her, because I feel like there's just so much to unpack with her. All right, now let's get to our song number 3 on this list, the top K-pop songs of 2021, which is Next Level by aespa. And there was one publication that put Next Level at number 1 on their list, which was the South China Morning Post. So it says, when aespa debuted last year as a quasi-virtual reality group with a fictional storyline, there was a sense that they'd become the next big thing if only they could get that one hit. Somehow, a song from the Fast and Furious series soundtrack remade and expanded on has done just that. It feels like you almost shouldn't have the most addictive hit of 2021 on your hands when you rework something known for car chases, but that's exactly what aespa and their team at SM Entertainment ended up with. Next Level feels like a whole sci-fi action movie soundtrack wrapped up in dramatic hip-hop, chanting EDM earworms, and power belting from vocalists spliced with sharp raps, and then an entire foray into jazz thrown in for good luck. Holy cow. Sounds like they're tackling a lot here. Even writing about it right now, it feels like aespa's Next Level makes 0 sense on paper as a smash hit of the year, but the best art pushes the boundaries of what has come before it, engaging and hitting the mark in all the right ways. The more you listen, the more fun and addicting Next Level becomes as it reaches new heights. I have no idea what I'm getting into now, because I've heard very little from aespa. I heard Black Mamba, which I think is their debut, and they have 4 members: Karina, Giselle, Winter, and Ningning. And then I also, for my Christmas reaction video that I filmed in December, listened to a song that they did, a collaboration with Red Velvet, I believe. But, you know, even then, I have 0 sense of aespa and what they're all about. So I feel like based on that description, I'm about to be thrown into the deep end in terms of what aespa is all about. You know what? I'm ready for it. I'm excited. And this is like a cool still that we have here to start here for the song. So let's listen. Ooh. Ooh, I like the colors changing.
I'm on the next level. Yeah, 절대적으로를 지켜. 내 손을 놓지 마라.
That's stomp.
결속은 나의 무기. 광야로 걸어가. 알아 내 hungry ground. 위협에 맞서서 제껴라, 제껴라, 제껴라. 상상도 못한 blackout. 유혹은 깊고 진해. Too hot, too hot.
Yeah, this is really catchy. And that like powerful beat.
I'm on the next level. 저 너머의 문을 열어 next level. 널 결국엔 내가 부셔 next level. 코스모에 찰 때까지 next level.
I like the red hair. Yeah, I feel like this would be compulsively easy to sing along to once you actually know the words. Making you pop and roll further. Ooh. Those snakes?
Watch me while I make it out. Watch me while I work it out. Watch me while I make it out. Watch me while I work it out. Work it, work it, work it out.
Yeah, it has a lot of like different segments to it, this song. Ooh, some nice vocals. Oh. Huh. This song is so interesting. It's cool. Going in and out of the virtual reality. Because like I love KDA, so this is bringing that back for me. And it's really interesting how almost their visuals are blending together with some of these like virtual reality type of characters, because their visuals look like unreal, you know? They're all just so gorgeous in a way that seems like almost unattainable, of like something you would see in a video game or something like that. So that's a really interesting element of everything thrown into this on top of the song. It feels like they're pushing a lot of boundaries here, which is really cool and exciting, and I feel like innovative in K-pop. So yeah, let's keep going. They just like blend together with their characters, you know what I mean? It's really hard to try to like put this song in a box, you know? Because it just tackles so many different things. Level. See, I already want to sing along with it. Wow. I just realized the link between Next Level and video games. Of course. Ooh, that was interesting. That was very unique too. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And kind of like the article before I listened to this song said, I feel like this song would grow on you over time. Like for example, Hype Boy by New Jeans, like I really wasn't wild about that song the first time I listened to it, but the more and more I listened to it, it really just grew on me. And I'm pretty sure the last time I checked my Receiptify, it was number 7 or something like that for 2023 of the songs that I've listened to. And I feel like this song could be another example of that, because on the first listen, it is so much to take in. There's so much happening in this song, like in a good way, that I feel like, you know, like a movie that has a lot of different nuances to it, where the more you watch it, it's like every time you watch it, you pick up on something new. I feel like this song would be similar. And I feel like that's just the sign of an awesome song. And I was also curious going into this if any of the 4 members would stand out to me. And I feel like they all held their own in this really equally. So there wasn't any one person that I was just absolutely wowed by, because I was wowed by all 4. And there's some real like gems of lyrics in this song too. Like even the unbearable despair, can't break my faith, even if a more painful trial comes, I won't let go of your hand. And it's kind of funny to go from the IU song to this song, because I feel like they're so completely different, and now it feels weird to me to try to compare the song to that one and decide which one I would rank higher. Because like I said before, this type of girl group song I tend to gravitate towards more, especially since, like I said before, Next Level will probably get better and better the more you listen to it. But Lilac was so good though. So yeah, this one's tough. I feel like this is gonna be the hardest one for me to rank so far. But you know, Cinema and Luna have just like had such a chokehold on me for the past several weeks that I just don't know if I could put Next Level above those. But I know myself, and I just know the more and more that I listen to this song, it's also going to have an absolute chokehold on me. So I feel like, I'm sorry to IU, but I think I'm going to put Next Level at number 4, because I love both concepts so much. But when it comes to breaking a tie, I try to ask myself, what song do I feel like I'm going to listen to more? And I just feel like I would listen to Next Level more than Lilac. So there we have it, and just 2 songs left. And this is our final song that had 6 appearances out of 9 on our critics list, with its average ranking at 3.5, and that is Bad Love by Key. So our SHINee members were indeed shining in 2021, and it was really fascinating to me when I was queuing up the videos for this reaction, because whenever I get ready for a video, I always put the videos I'm about to react to in one playlist. And I noticed when I was adding the Bad Love music video to the playlist that it only had 12 million views. Sorry, 13, which is just wild to me that this song has so much critic praise, but it clearly didn't land with the fandom as much. And when, you know, Advice from Taemin in the exact same group got 47 million views. So that kind of fascinates me. And this already makes me root for Bad Love and want to give it a high rating, even though I've never even heard it before. Because I just already know that this is going to be a criminally underrated song. But let's see what the critics have to say, where we did have a publication rank Bad Love at number 1, which is The Ringer, but we've already heard from The Ringer a couple of times here. So let's see what NME had to say about the song when they rated it at number 3. So here they say, there's always something exciting, almost primal, about watching someone be unabashedly themselves. It leaves one a little breathless and completely blinded, as if going through a transformation worth lifetimes in the course of a song. Key's Bad Love is a religious experience on similar levels, primarily because it's so beautifully, unapologetically, liberally him that you can almost taste his life experience, his thoughts, his likes and dislikes on your tongue. Wow, they are really painting a picture here. Among the fascinatingly morbid pink goopy aliens and PVC spacesuits, the deconstructed jackets, and the David Bowie-inspired look, the booming vocals and the atmospheric synthwave influence, Key becomes himself and blooms. This may not be his first rodeo, but man, is this his most honest one. Interesting. I feel like they are setting this up to be weird, but like weird in the best way. And I could see why that might not necessarily be as like commercially popular. But again, I'm just so fascinated, not just by that description, but by the fact that this is being given its flowers so highly by the critics, but it's not nearly as beloved, you know, in the K-pop fandom as a whole. And, you know, that's just going by views on the music video, not saying that, you know, that's the most important metric that determines the success of a song, not at all. So I am morbidly curious to watch this video, so let's do it. Ooh. The throwback. Just seeing if their captions turned on. There we go. Yeah, those synths are like, ugh. And I mean that in a good way. The shift in that instrumental. Sweeter. Ooh, those lyrics. You become sweeter and more bitter like poison. And it's so interesting to be getting a taste of Key's performance, and I can't help but kind of compare it to Taemin, but at the same time not, because I can already tell that they are very different as solo artists, which I'll summarize a little more later once we listen to more of the song. But I love the like 80s throwback of this. Ooh. These got female dancers too. Unruly killer. Yeah, it's kind of like an underlying darkness to this song. Even though on the surface it could seem kind of like whimsical with the outfits and everything. Ooh, that was cool. Oh, this is so cool. And the intensity of it. Oh, his vocals. Beautiful but cruel. You're my tragedy. Ooh. Yeah, I see the Bowie comparison for sure. With like a bit of the Joker thrown in there. Whew. Those vocals. Oh, that's cool. This is so freaking cool. Oh my goodness. Now this just, after everything that I saw from Taemin and now from Key, this just makes me want to get into SHINee so bad, because there's such a like maturity and point of view that they both bring to their music. And like I said before, it does feel like they both have very distinct styles, not just in their vocals, where Taemin is a bit more like soft and a bit more androgynous. Key, it feels like he brings like power. And, you know, I've started to build the best songs of 2020 and 2019, that sort of thing. And I can't remember if I saw Key in any of the other lists, but, you know, even if he wasn't, it's really cool to see both Taemin and Key doing so well in, you know, later on in their careers. Because I think once you reach like your late 20s, early 30s, I know this is the case for me as like a human being, but you kind of know who you are as an artist, especially when you get to break away from your group and not just be known as a member of your group, but an artist in your own right. And I feel like that probably makes their music as a group stronger as well, when you know who you are as an artist and what you bring to the table. So I feel like that's why we're seeing, at least in this list, so many artists who are in their late 20s, early 30s popping up here. Because I feel like, at least for me, it wasn't until my late 20s that I really started to solidify who I was as a person and stop necessarily like caring as much about what other people thought and just being myself. And it seems like from what the NME article was describing, that he really is embracing that here of like who he is as an artist. And that's when I think your best music gets produced. And you can also go into like darker, more mature concepts in that stage of your career. Everything about this is so believable, and it really just pulls you in, like feeling strange, but I'm addicted to you. I call you light and darkness. The deeper I experience you, you become sweeter and more bitter like poison. And joy and despair are mine. It's like these warring factions of yourself, of I know this is wrong, but it feels so right. And saying this all as he, goes from set to set in this studio and this seeming like talk show, like late night talk show of some kind. And it kind of feels like through the ending of the song in particular, those like belting vocals, that he's trying to like purge himself of this love, of this relationship, because he's sick of it. And I always find it so amazing when artists can just evoke the emotion of a song through just their voices. Like I Envy You from Taeyeon is one of my favorite K-pop songs of all time. And in a similar way to this song, there's the part after the breakdown where she's just singing, like she's not saying anything, but you can feel like the sorrow in her voice. And it's the same kind of thing here, where you can feel the like anger and frustration where you're just like, and like belting these notes. And it takes like a very specific kind of talent to be able to do something like that. So I'm just insanely impressed by this song. Not to mention, the really cool choreography during the chorus, that amazing. I loved the instrumental in the like pre-chorus, where it brings you down to this kind of like softer 80s instrumental before it like pulls you back into things in the chorus with that intensity, which again evokes that feeling of being pushed and pulled. This song is like, it's actually making me angry now. It's making me angry that only 13 million people have seen this music video, or it's been viewed 13 million times, I should say. Because even though I've literally heard this song once, I want to like scream from the mountaintops that everyone should listen to it. So this isn't even a question for me. Key is going to be Neighbors with Taemin here, where I am putting Bad Love at number 1. All right, so this brings us to our number 1 song of 2021. Pew, pew, pew. Where, as I said before, all these other songs that I have covered in this video appeared 6 times out of the 9 lists that I have accumulated. And this song, this number 1 song, appeared on all 9 lists. Not 7, not 8, but all 9 lists. And out of the 9 lists, 2 of them put this song at number 1. And that is, drumroll, 0 by 1 equals Love Song from TXT, which I'm sure you already pieced together because of the chapters that I included. So we're going to check out what the bias list had to say. The bias list had some pretty like indie takes when it came to K-pop, because out of this top 12, they did have 8 of these songs on their list, but they never ranked very highly. However, 0 by 1 equals Love Song was at number 5 on their list. And here is what they had to say. Oh, TXT, angst suits you so well. Like a proud parent, many of us would happily shelter our cheerful crown boys as long as possible. But growing pains are bound to happen. When they do, we can only hope for a chorus as spectacular as Love Song. It's an emotional frenzy of thundering percussion, abrasive vocals, and moments of stark insecurity. Above all else, it's a damn sing-along, and there are few things more cathartic than that. So I was honestly hard-pressed to find a video to react to for 0 by 1 equals Love Song, because I have reacted to multiple versions of this. I've seen the regular music video. I've seen the dance practice. I've seen the videos for all of the remixes, including the Japanese version. So this was the one thing that I had not seen yet, which was their Good Morning America performance of the song. And again, even though I have heard the song before, I am going to provide my thoughts after this reaction. So let's watch this GMA performance. Those drums every time. I'm gonna have to try really hard not to sing along.
Can't stop thinking about you and I'm sinking alone. I know it's real, I can feel it.
Yeah, again, I need to keep it contained. Ooh, the fire. Ah! Taeyeon's voice just gets me every time. I like the exclusion of drug. Ooh. I just love how each member brings something so different. And I love Bumgyu's like breathy vocals. I like those camera manipulations. This really is a spectacular freaking song. Oh. Oh my gosh, I love Yeonjun so much. And I love the contrast of him having the really bright blonde hair. Kai, I mean. Ugh. That was so good. Ugh. And when I say ugh, I mean like that was disgusting in the best possible way. I am disgusted by their talent. And they really have just perfected that emo boy genre. And you know, in hindsight too, being able to reflect back on TXT and 2021 and their career, this did feel like a very stark turning point in their discography. And the Chaos Chapter Freeze is still one of my favorite TXT albums. And in a way, it almost feels representative of 2021 as well, because like 2021 was a shit year. Still, you know, in the thick of the pandemic, trying to put myself into Gen Z's shoes. Like, I feel like, you know, being in the prime years of your life and being forced to stay indoors would really suck. So I could see how this song would easily represent like a whole generation of K-pop fans. And now is where I feel like I might get myself in trouble because of the fact that this song is so like Gen Z representative that for me, it doesn't resonate as much as some of TXT's other songs. And it's not even my favorite song on the album, let alone in their discography, which I will get to in a second. So, objectively, I recognize that the song is an absolute masterpiece. It just personally is not my favorite TXT song. But, again, I understand why this was number one. Absolutely understand. So that being said, I feel like I'm going to put this at number 7 on my list. Please don't be upset. Especially since I saw someone in the comments from my previous video say that this is like their favorite song of all time. So I was like, oh no, they're gonna be so disappointed. So disappointed with me. But again, like I said in the last video, my favorites are valid, your favorites are valid, and they can coexist. Okay, so that means we have my final rankings here, where Bad Love by Key landed at number 1. I'm happy with these rankings. I would be very curious to let these songs marinate for a little bit, maybe like 6 months from now, come back and see if I would shift things around a little bit. But I'd be curious to hear what you think, and if you think my rankings are horrendous, or if you were surprised by these critic rankings. Did you think that certain songs would show up that didn't show up? Were you accurate? Did you think that the songs that were in this video were going to be here? I'd be very curious to know. I love to engage in this kind of conversation. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and let me know, I would love to know from you what your top songs of 2021 were. But speaking about top songs of 2021, I will be giving you my rankings of number 5 to number 1 for my favorites. And again, I will repeat what I said in my last video, in that it's possible that if you're wondering, how could she not put this in her top 10? What is she thinking? Blah, 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 blah. Number 1, it's possible that I haven't even heard that song before. I'm still a very baby K-pop fan. And 2, rankings are subjective. My life experiences, my personal taste, there's so many subjective things that go into taste and what makes my favorites, and your favorites, and they are both valid and can both coexist. So please be kind and don't hurt me. But on my list at number 5, I have The Real, the Hyung version from ATEEZ. The Real is such a fantastic hype song, and as much as I love a deep, complex, rich, nuanced song, I feel like 9 times out of 10 I will pick the banger over that kind of song, because certain times you just feel like you're in the mood to have your spirits lifted and to feel like you can take on the world. And it's basically impossible to listen to this song and not sing along with the da-dee-dum, da-dee-dum, da-dee-dum-dum part. I feel like it's illegal, honestly. So that is my number 5 song. And then at number 4, I have To You from 17. This is a B-side that feels like it could be a title track, honestly. It gives main character energy, and it's such a fun, uplifting way to start the album. I haven't even finished my Attica reaction yet. Oh my gosh, I have so much to catch up on. But it's already my favorite song of the album, even though I haven't finished it yet, because it just never fails to lift my spirits. It's honestly the perfect song to put on in the car on your way to work, because it's like, how could you be unhappy after listening to this song? It's impossible. So that's why I have To You at number 4 on my list. Then at number 3, we have Thunderous by Stray Kids. So Thunderous came in at number 19 on the critics ratings, and I was honestly shocked that it wasn't higher, because I feel like there's so many things about this song that just like stick with you and have so much staying power. And when I say staying power, I did not mean to throw that stay pun in there. But again, that's part of my criteria that I thought about when putting this list together is, what songs am I still playing in 2023 that are, still in my playlist, that I'm still not skipping whenever it comes on. And again, other than Butter, this is the only song on my list that I actually heard in 2021. And I still absolutely adore it to this day because of those just like thundering drums, the traditional elements of the song. Changbin's iconic rap at the beginning, the choreography, the just like solikum. And again, just like with The Real and not being able to sing along to the da-dee-dum, da-dee-dums, it's impossible to not go solikum every time. Thunder really lives up to its name in terms of its power and its energy. So that's why it's number 3 for me. And then number 2 on my list, we have Deja Vu by ATEEZ. ATEEZ making another appearance here. Deja Vu was one of the first ATEEZ songs that I heard, and it was funny because in my initial first listen of ATEEZ, I also listened to Wonderland and Fireworks, but this song out of the 3 kind of stayed with me the least initially. But the more and more I listened to each of those songs, I just found that Deja Vu grew on me more and more and more and more. And everything about it is just so freaking captivating to the point that I was kind of shocked that it was number 42 on the critics list. The beat of the song is just so hypnotizing and kind of harkens back to like an early 2000s type of vibe, along with the hypnotizing chorus and the really laid back raps from Hongjoong and Mingi. There's something just so mesmerizing about this song that I just go to over and over and over and over again. I think it's probably my second favorite ATEEZ song behind Gorilla, and that's why I put Deja Vu at number 2 on my list. And then number 1, my favorite song of 2021 was Anti-Romantic by TXT. Now, y'all, I was stunned that not only did Anti-Romantic not rank highly on this critics list, but it did not rank at all. Not one single publication put Anti-Romantic on their list. And I'm going to come up with the excuse that it was because it's not a title track and that it's technically a B-side, even though it just like whoosh, like has surpassed, I think, the streams of any TXT B-side as far as I know, because it just like stands so well on its own 2 feet. And that "Sorry, I'm an anti-romantic" line is probably one of the most iconic in K-pop for me. And the way the song just subtly builds as it goes, and the tiny little instrumental flourishes that you could maybe not even notice until it's gone. The first time I listened to this song, I nearly lost my mind. If you haven't seen my reaction to that song, you need to. It's a song that never fails to give me the chills. It feels just so timeless. It's just perfection. It's absolute perfection, which is why it is my favorite song of 2021 and why I am angry that it did not make an appearance on the critics list. So friends, thank you so much for joining me for this reaction. I would love to hear from you what your favorite songs of 2021 were if they don't appear in any of these lists, or if there's any other songs that you think that I should check out from Key, from IU, from aespa. Tell me all of your thoughts. I love to have conversations about this kind of thing. And don't forget that you can also check out the full list in the Google Docs spreadsheet in the description, as well as the Spotify playlist of all of the best songs of 2021. And let me know if you would like to see a best songs of 2020 video. What songs do you think are going to appear on that list? Tell me everything. Tell me all of your thoughts. But until the next video, I hope you are doing well, staying safe, taking care of yourself, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.